everybody, and welcome to the first episode 1 podcast of BeFierce. My name is Javira, and I am going to be your host. I am from WithYouWithMe. I'm head of partnerships and community here. So, guys, I just want to let you know what this podcast is about, so that you understand why you're here listening to us today. So what we do as a company, we build talent. We build the military community into future of work roles like cyber, RPA, so robotic process automation. We do data analytics, and in the future, we are bringing people cloud. Well, why do we do this? We do this because we want to make sure that military veterans, when they're exiting the service, are able to secure the future of our nation. How we do this? We do this with what we call the With You With Me way. We help veterans discover their potential to become technologists. We train them in job-ready skills through our accredited courses. We deploy them as squads, i.e. teams, and then we continue to grow them so that, like I said before, they can once again secure our nation into the future. But really, more importantly, what this podcast is about, it's basically a medium to highlight the good news stories of the veterans that we have supported in our company, to showcase some of the other amazing organisations that are out there that support the military veteran community. And one of my big things is making sure that we continue to grow the veteran community. So, here to my right is my co-host, Will. Will?
Hey guys.
How you going?
Not too bad. Thanks for the intro. My name's Will Lewis. I am the co-host of the BeFierce podcast. I'm a military veteran myself. I almost said metron. Military veteran myself. Let's coin new phrases. Let's go. Awesome. And I am the senior account manager at WithYouWithMe.
Amazing. So, Will, can you just, you just touched on there that you were in the military. Can you just tell us a little bit about your service history and what you did in the Army?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background, I joined the Army as soon as I turned 18, finished school, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. All I knew is I had a big sense of purpose, a big sense of service, and I knew, I have a few relatives, some of my uncles, as well as both my granddads were in the service as well. So for me, it just made sense to transition straight from school into a job that I could get paid from day one, rather than going to university and going into debt from day one.
Great.
So that was that was one of the reasons, as well as a sense of service, to actually join the Army in the first place. I was infantry, so I was a grunt. I was enlisted, I was a digger, and I'll throw in military terminology in there for anyone that is listening that understands what I'm talking about, but I'll also translate it for anyone that might not have been in service as well. So I served for 4 years, included deployments to both Timor and Afghanistan. Left at the 4-year mark, having done what I signed up to do, and that was to serve for Australia. After I left, though, I didn't really have a sense of direction. I didn't know, A, what I wanted to do, B, what I'd be good at. So when the time came to actually start looking for jobs, I was doing what I call a shotgun approach, and it was basically just applying for every single job out on Seek, whether I knew exactly what the job was or if I didn't. So I didn't really have a targeted approach, which led to, down the line, I ended up sleeping on the street for a period of time. I was scrubbing dishes at a cafe because I needed to get money in somehow, and for me it was just an easy way to start earning $20 odd an hour. Worked my way up, found out about With You With Me through a friend, what I like to call the Diggernet. So a friend of mine was going through when the company was in its infancy, and when I say that, I mean there was only 2 people in there at the time. So we went through a little bit of a training session with Tom Moore, who's the co-founder and global CEO now. Funnily enough, we were both in the same unit. We were posted together in the Army.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Tom and I back in the day. So this book here is actually our deployment book from ATF2 in Afghan. Yeah. So the webs grow from the start, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. But look, in regards to the With You With Me way, it is discover, train, deploy and grow, right?
Yep.
So the cool thing was when I came on to With You With Me as a job seeker, the first step was discovery. What am I going to be good at? I had no idea until I went through the testing, which shot out that I'd be good at account management, which from, I'm from a country town in far north Queensland. The only bit of sales that I knew was real estate or car sales. So I didn't know what B2B, account management, or all these words that were getting thrown at me actually meant until Tom and I went through a few one-on-ones on exactly what that meant and how I could integrate that into my life, into my profession. So that was really cool. He put me through training, which is the second step of the With You With Me way, that I, back in the day, I was actually working for With You With Me, I guess as an intern would be the best way to say it. Going on site with Tom to client visits and all that sort of thing. And then the deployment. So I actually was able to, and fortunate enough to get a full-time job here. And then, from that 2.5 years ago, able to grow into my current position, which is a senior account manager, which for me is bloody awesome.
Amazing. That's an amazing story. Thank you. I didn't even know that part. Like you actually served it. That's freaking cool.
Well, funnily enough, most of the first, I'd say the first 6 employees here were all from the same unit at some point or another. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So me, Tom Moore, Tom Lada, Chris.
Chris. Yeah, I remember Chris.
And then Dave as well. Dave was in Seminar for a bit.
Oh, cool.
Small world.
Thank you. Thanks, Will. Thanks for sharing your story. And I think it's important to say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Now, who I have here on my left is our special guest, even though, she's super special to us. You are, I know. So what I'm going to do, Bec, if you don't mind, can you share your story in terms of who you are, what your service history, because as funnily, we all have some sort of connection to the military. And then can you just sort of let us know how you became to do what you're actually doing now?
Yeah, perfect. So, as Javira mentioned, thank you, I'm Bec. I'm the Pathfinder team leader here at With You With Me. I'll go on to explain what that actually means a bit later on. But service-wise, I was also in the Army. I'm one of the people who didn't know any of the Toms. But,
one of
that's probably good.
But my whole job searching thing started back after high school. So unlike Will, I did go down the uni path. And I got a nice little HECSTET that I'm still paying off. But did the uni thing. I knew I was interested in psychology and people, so I did a psych degree. Had a good 4 years, but then it finished. And I actually was job searching from 21 to 24.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't job searching well, as I found out later when I joined With You With Me about a decade later. But I was going for a lot of interviews, really unprepared, really unsure of myself, and getting knocked back. So that actually led me to the Army. I sort of fell into it.
Oh, okay.
No one in my family served. I was just getting knocked back after interview, or I wasn't even getting to the interview stage, and someone mentioned, I saw a DFR ad. Have you thought about them? And I was like, it got to that point. I was like, why not? So I went to DFR.
Can we just explain, apologies.
Apologies.
DFR, so just in case people don't know DFR is.
So I went to DFR, Defence Force Recruiting.
Perfect.
Went through my testing. A few months later, found myself on a bus to Kapuka. So I joined Psychology Corps as a soldier. A few people get a bit freaked out about that, what the psych soldiers do, but we're there for mental health support. So I did a lot of screening, a lot of testing as well. And I really enjoyed that. I had a couple of postings, Sydney, Melbourne. Well, Melbourne was sort of actually Puckapunyal posting, but I lived in Melbourne. And I deployed the support teams. We were based near Dubai, where we did fly in, fly out to Afghanistan. So I sort of got the nice, relaxing 7 months, but also got to be with the troops. So I had a good trip there. But about 5 years into the Army, I realised it wasn't my forever career.
Sure.
I sort of learnt what I wanted to, had a great time. But I was still really nervous about how to job search because of my early 20s, and it didn't go well. So I think I sat in the Army for a little bit, started doing that jaded corporal thing where I was like, I'm here because I have to be here. And it was actually through the Diggernet as well that I found about With You With Me. One of my former sergeants, who was my friend, he'd recently gone out, and he told me to look it up, and I had no idea what he was talking about. But I signed up to the website, and I sat on there for a little while, still a bit unsure what I was doing, just doing the testing. And on the other side, I was looking at other options. I looked at joining the Air Force, looking at other civilian jobs. But then a couple of things just clicked. I knew I wasn't happy with the Army. I put in an Air Force application. They told me to come back in 12 months. I got an Army posting extending me for another 12 months where I already was at Pucker. So I was like, no, I'm ready. And because I had done all the research, and I was like, no, I'm ready to leave now. And I had a bit more confidence, and I hit up Tom Larder by email, who just happened to be hiring. And then a few interviews later, I'm working With You With Me. So
wow, that's an incredible story. That's awesome. And first of all, I must say, only because my husband's Army, and if it would have been a really bad idea going to the RAF, okay? Saved yourself from actually doing that. But that's an incredible story. And first, as we're keeping with the theme, thank you for your service. It's really important that I think here in Australia that we actually acknowledge people's service to our nation. We need to get better at that. So thank you, Bec. So you mentioned a little bit, obviously, of who you are at With You With Me. But can you just, I suppose, for everyone listening, elaborate on actually what you do, what it means to be a Pathfinder team leader, and then I'll ask you a little bit more, a few more questions about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially because Pathfinder is such a With You With Me term.
Yeah.
So my team, you can think about us as your customer support, and what we mean by Pathfinders is we're there when people join the platform. We help them through that journey and helping them find their career pathway. So you go through testing. If you've got any questions about the testing or you want any explanations, where you'll go to. If you get recommended some career pathways, you're not sure what they mean, you want a bit of help, where you'll go to team there. So we're really there to help the veterans, and as we expand all the users on our platform, use it and understand what it means, and let them make a good data-driven decision about what their next step will be.
Cool. Awesome. So can you just I think it's a really good point to introduce here, that data-driven decision. So why, with that testing, why do you think it's important for, veterans that are coming onto our platform to have that sort of first experience touch with Pathfinders and to do that process? Why is that important?
Yeah, no, good question. I think a lot of veterans sell themselves short. So they know what they've done previously. Like, I do this very well, or this is who I am. I've had X amount of PARs, performance reports, telling me that this is what I do well, and this is what I should do for the future. So with the testing, you actually find out maybe some strengths you didn't realize you had. It's all about not what you've done previously, but what you can do.
Sure.
So when I got through the testing, I actually got matched to a lot of things I didn't understand what they meant.
Okay.
A lot of analyst roles. And now I'm actually doing the data analyst course. I've fallen a bit behind, and I've got to pick up one of my assessments. But it was something I hadn't thought about before. So a lot of, I find, speaking to the members or veterans or users, they get matched to a pathway, but might have no idea what that means. And that's where we're there to explain why they got matched to in the first place and what the future possibilities of that career are.
Cool. That's awesome. So can you, I suppose, just share some experiences with us and the people that are listening to us or watching us on this stream? What's some of the current important work that you're doing to help veterans? I mean, I know you've explained your role, but can you give us any sort of sneak peeks on things that are happening that you guys are working on to make the experience, I suppose, for veterans and people that come onto our portal? Is there anything that you can share?
Yeah, we're working on a couple of things soon that everyone will see. A new test process, which will be an easier test experience for the user. There's already some stuff happening with easier examples and reports as well, so that if we're always going to be there, you can have a 10, 15, 20-minute chat with us on the phone, but we want to make it that you can actually understand the results without needing that phone call, so helping that user experience as well. The team's also busy doing some smaller events to get people in the office or online and just explain, discuss transition, retention, any sort of questions that we see where like, okay, this is what the users and the veterans are coming to us with. Let's make some more useful information for them.
Amazing, thank you. So I think it's really important, and Will, I'm going to ask you the same in a moment, but given that you are like a lived experience, you were in the military, you served, you spent time, you went through that whole uni pathway, if you could give one piece of advice to veterans feeling, I suppose, stuck about finding that repurpose, because I know you said that you had a sense of duty, a sense of purpose, which we know a lot of military members,
Absolutely.
that's kind of one of the reasons that why they do that. But for you, Bec, especially in the role that you perform, what would be that one piece of advice that you would say, hey guys, if you're feeling stuck about finding repurpose, what would be your suggestion?
Yeah. My suggestion is to explore, test and adjust. So test and adjust is a bit of a military term as well. But what I mean by that, if you see something that you think might be interesting or you don't even know what it is, that's when you can start exploring to that. Ask somebody what they do in their job, go to a meeting, read an article, watch a video.
Sure.
If you get a bit more intrigued, then you can do a bit more research. The research is key. You might start a course, you might sit down with someone for an hour, and then if you find out, actually, I don't think that's for me, that's fine. Then go on to the next one. So yeah, research is important. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and if you think it might be for you, give it a little bit of a shot. You can, LinkedIn's great, ask people for coffee, listen to YouTube videos. You can find out so much about a role and a career pathway and different opportunities really easy.
Amazing, amazing. I'll before I jump over to you, Will, I'm just going to ask one more question, which is I think is nice to make it a bit more personal, because we're obviously not paying you to be here. So, but I think you're getting paid.
You're not paying me?
What do you mean? Stop, everyone. No, I'm kidding. Can you share with us what's the favourite part? What's your favourite part about what you do here?
My favourite part, what I do here, really comes from the users. So I don't know if the guys and girls recognise it, but every time I get an email back like, oh, thanks, Bec, like that just makes my day. Or whether it's like, oh, sorry, I haven't been in contact for a while. I've been busy with my new job. Or even if it's, yep, sorry, I got a posting and things are going really well right now. I just really like hearing those responses from the users. The thank yous and the updates are what I love.
Oh,
yeah.
That's lovely. That's awesome. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Bec. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Will, so I'm going to jump over to you. I just want to ask, there's two questions that I want to ask you here because I think it's important, like I said before, given that, you know, you are a lived experience of this as well, of people transitioning out of the service. So again, the question is, what's one piece of advice for veterans that you would give if they were feeling stuck about finding their repurpose?
Yeah, look, I might even give more than one if you're going to allow it.
Yeah.
Mediator.
I don't know. Ready, go.
So, look, I'll piggyback on one of the things that Bec said in regards to test and adjust, right? So, test and adjust relies on you being biased to action. And I use the ASDA cycle. So, act, sense, decide, act. Be biased to action, actually take the first step, keeping in mind that it's your journey to go in the direction that you'd like to go in. So you have to take that first step. And I think most people in the military, they're happy to do that, but when you're actually looking to transition, it's a different environment, it's a different world. So if you don't take action, it's easy to get stuck in a cycle, get stuck in a hamster wheel almost of just rotating in the same direction. You're not going anywhere, you're just rotating. So I think it's a matter of testing and adjusting for what you actually want to do. Yeah. But as Bec also said, making a data-driven decision to say, look, I've never thought about this before, but this is telling me that maybe I'll be good at it.
Yeah.
Why don't I give it a shot? At least go through one of these courses, especially if I'm not paying for it. Why wouldn't I give it a crack? Yeah. Then if it's not for me, you know what? At least I've given that a shot. I can start to rule that out of the options that I have in front of me because there's so much, there's so many different type of career pathways that there are out there. So actually narrowing down your focus and taking a sniper approach instead of a shotgun approach, I think is a really good way to go about it. Which leads into the second point of being fierce. One of the values at With You With Me, be curious, be transparent, be fierce. In your own journey, you need to actually, get out there, have a bit of ticker about you and really just get stuck into it, right? And I think most people that I speak to on the phone have no issues. They're like, yep, sweet, what do I have to do next? If you start to get to the point, and I see it quite often that someone's already been out of the military for a period of time, they've been on seek, looking for jobs, apply now, not getting across the line because the resume is probably not getting through the applicant tracking system scrape because it doesn't have enough keywords on it, right? So it's easy to get demotivated and upset at the system.
Sure.
And I can see that it would be easy to start to take your foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
But it's all about being fierce and actually just keeping your foot on the accelerator, being fierce about your journey and just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going until you get to where you want to go.
Yeah. I think kind of, Bec, if I can just jump back to you for a second, that's kind of what you were saying before in terms of you started on that journey of, I'm going to go through university, you were applying for job and stuff like that, and you got, stuck.
Yeah.
You know?
I got stuck and disheartened back then, and then I would go through like 6 months of not job searching and just working in a retail job, which was fine, but I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I didn't have those basic things. One, resilience and being fierce. Like, I would back off and get scared and be like, oh, I got rejected. That hurt. I'm not going to try again for a while.
Sure.
So I think, like, obviously joining the army and with you, with me has been great. But if I knew some things back then, different pathways, but everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. Can I just ask with that, do you think that whole confidence sort of level is something that got developed in the army?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm continually developing, but the military definitely helped with my confidence there. I think back to some of the interviews I would have had pre-army, and I'm like, I wouldn't have given me a job either.
So it's probably
At least you're honest.
Everyone talks about the great things about the army, but a lot of professional development there happens. So even though I joined at 25 and it probably worked out who I was as an individual, I still didn't know where I fit with teams, and in I hadn't worked out where I fit with society and teamwork. And I guess that's what the army and the military does. It's not about who you are, it's about who you are with everyone else. So,
which I think is like hugely invaluable. Like you coming out of the military, I don't think you guys realise what an asset you are. They've spent, kudos to Defence here as well. They invest a lot of money to train you guys to be able to be that way. And I think when you're transitioning out of the service, you kind of forget that because you feel like it's a new world. That's the experience that I've had with, the support that I've done for people as well. And so they lose that sort of self-confidence like you were talking about, but you genuinely have it built in you, but it's not like, you feel like, oh God, this is something new. But like you said, you need to have that sort of be fierce attitude, like relentless pursuit of going, actually, you know what? I need to give this a crack and I need to give it a go. And, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like really, it's like you get a few rejections.
She'll be right.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just that determination of keeping moving forward. One of the other questions that I had for you as well was just to talk about what your favourite part of what you do here at With You With Me is.
I just like being around you guys.
No,
look, there's a lot of really cool parts about my job. I'd say if I had to narrow down to the favourite, it's celebrating the wins. And there's a number of different wins that I would consider, right? So my role used to be a lot more hands-on individually to the veterans in a recruitment model. So I'd be working with individuals for a number of time, figuring out what they might be good at, putting them forward for job opportunities, and then, with the end goal of putting them into a career with a company that I believe in, that I've tried and tested to say, I believe that this company is great for you, for military veterans as a whole, and I reckon this career pathway is going to be perfect for you. Actually getting the individuals across the line, sign contracts, starting on day one, send them a text or give them a call. Hey, how was your first day? They're like, I won't swear too much. Effing brilliant, mate. Like, thank you so much. Gamato! And look, funnily enough, Striker, I've been working with them since day one, pretty much. There was, within a week, I put 2 guys that I used to work with in 7RR in different roles in the company. They were both, went through the training around the same time. Both in Sydney around the same time, so we just caught up for a beer and just the cheers. Thanks for this. Thanks for your help. That's, for me, the highlight of the job.
No, that's amazing. That's so cool. I think you guys, to me, your sense of purpose, all you're doing now is just reshaping it into helping other individuals. So before it was about serving your nation.
Yeah.
Well, you really are.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
you're serving your nation, but you're kind of doing it with the people that just need that support to realise their potential and realise what they're doing and what their strengths are. So that's really cool. I'm super chuffed about. I actually could say that my favourite part of working here is working with individuals like you guys, because for me, it's that whole. I find it really inspirational, and I think more people need to hear about it. So that's why I'm super excited about hosting this podcast, because it allows me to speak to people like you, real life people. That we can say, hey, this is what we've done, this is what we did, and and moving forward, we get to showcase more. So, look, what I want to do now is thank you both. I'm just going to do a quick recap, making sure that everyone that's listening, we know why we're here. So, like I said before, realistically, our podcast is about making sure it's a medium for people to share our success stories with veterans that we do, kind of showcase the work that we do as well, so you guys get a better understanding of, hey, how we can help you. So the people that are listening or the people that are watching us here, we want to make sure that you guys know what's happening. It's another medium for us to let you know. It's also about obviously making sure that we showcase the other people within the veteran communities, other organisations, and other obviously people that we have helped support. So we will be bringing you that over the coming podcasts that we do. What I need to do also is obviously get you guys to, hey, if you like what we do, tick like, click follow, and make sure that if you want to listen to us, we're actually across 8 different channels. Like, I didn't even know there were 8, but apparently we do. So if you guys are listening, we're available on Spotify, we're available on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cats. Oh, I wrote Pocket Cats. Shit.
Pocket Cats as well.
Pocket Cats, people. I don't even know what that is. Is it Pocket Cast?
I assume so, yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry. And then Radio Public. So I don't even know what that is either. But anyway.
Yeah. Spotify. Let's be honest. Anyone's going to be on Spotify.
Yeah, just go to Spotify.
Just Spotify.
Just follow and like, okay?
Yeah.
And you want to leave a review or a comment or any feedback that you guys want to give us, because we're, like Bec was saying before, we're really all about feedback.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that this is a valuable time that you guys are putting in, investing in it. So yeah, please. Also, just to let you guys know, obviously our website, WithYouWithMe.com. We've obviously got everything that we do available on our website. You can have a look at what's going on. Also on the website, just because I was going to say thank you guys, but I think it's probably a good time to talk about that. On our website, you can actually have a look at what's happening across the company in terms of what the events. Bec kindly alluded to that the Pathfinder team are actually running some what we call little micro events, but we're trying to basically allow the veterans that we're helping now, even if you're serving or ex-serving, their families, or if you just we really want to grow this veteran community. So hit us up. Let us know if you want to come to any of our events. They'll all be available on our portal, but on our website as well. The next big one that we have is our Canberra Expo, which is happening in Canberra on the 22nd of October at the Park Hyatt Hotel. Please register, please come. We're here to showcase all the employers that want your skills. They want you, like the old military way, that thing?
Yeah.
Just knife point.
Knife point, like that. And then, like I said before, if there's anyone, leave a review, give us some feedback. We're obviously always opening to listening and making this a really valuable use of your time. So what I want to do now is thank Bec. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're so heavily involved in making sure that the user, i.e. veterans family, anyone that comes onto our portal, that you're giving them a really wonderful journey. You want to make sure that you're there for them. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm going to get back to emails and phone calls. I'm sure a few of you are waiting for a reply from me.
And actually, that's the cool thing as well, because Bec is essentially the face of the company, but it's behind a computer and a phone that you talk to so many veterans a day. It's actually cool, I think, to get you on the podcast and people can actually see you. And you're the transparent champion as well. So the company, as I said, 3 values: be fierce, be transparent, be curious. It's really cool for you to get out and about, I think, and start to people can actually see us. We're not just people on the other end of a phone or the other end of an email. We're actually real people sitting together having a good time.
Automated.
We could, it's the Matrix, blue pill, red pill. Yeah.
Like that. Anyway, so thank you, Bec, and thank you to my co-host, Will.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and everyone, thank you for listening. And we want to say thank you for listening to our BeFierce podcast, episode 1. Thanks, and see you next time.
Thank you.